guys, I've got a really cool and short lesson for you today, and what I'm going to share with you is a really neat way to expand on playing your power chords. And basically all you're going to do is you're going to play power chords on top of power chords to do this. You heard what I played just now, and you heard some different textures, some different characteristics in the rhythm as I went from one part to another. Just real quick, the chords that we're playing, the power chords that we're playing, are going to be D, E, C, and G. I do a little riff on the G part. I'll kind of break that down if I can remember what I played. You guys know how this works by now, but let's go over the chord structure first. Okay, so let's play through that. Let me share what I'm doing to get this sound. Let's just play the D power chord, okay? This is what I'm playing, or this is what you heard in the beginning. Okay, let me play just the chord without all the alternate picking and all that, because this is a part that I want you to get down, and then you can apply alternate picking or whatever you want to this, okay? But this is what I want you to get down right here. What we're doing, this is what makes this so cool, is everything we just played, okay, is based on that D power chord, that D chord, okay? We're playing a D all the way through, but we're really adding an A power chord to that, okay, on those higher strings. So, you know, your D power chord, you're on the A and the D strings, frets 5 and 7. So we're playing the A power chord down here on the G, what is that, the D and G strings. I get my D's and G's mixed up. That's probably why I got F's in school, D's sometimes. Anyway, back to the lesson. So we're on the G, I screwed up again, the D and the G strings on frets 7 and 9 there, okay? So we're playing that A power chord down here. Now, the reason why this works, okay, I mean, yes, we're technically playing that A power chord, but we're actually still playing the D. Listen to this again, and I'll share why this works. The reason why this works is because the notes that we're playing after that D power chord, we go to that A power chord, we'll call it the lighter power chord because it's on those lighter strings, the ones that I keep flip-flopping back and forth, the D and the G here. Those notes that we're playing are part of that D. So that's why it works. That's why it sounds like it flows together the way it does, okay? The interesting thing, though, is, let me kind of break this down a little bit further so maybe it makes more sense here. You're playing the D power chord, right? So you've got your root note and a power chord. For those of you who don't know, let me just give you a very light version of the theory behind a power chord. It's your root note, which means the note that you're starting with. That's the D note. The second note in that power chord is called your fifth note, okay? What we're doing, we're playing the root and the fifth. When we go to that A power chord, we're starting with the fifth note of the D power chord, okay? Meaning, we're on strings A and D, frets 5 and 7 for the D power chord. Well, when we go down here to play this A, look at where my finger is right now, okay? D string, 7th fret, my second finger, my pinky finger. It's Pinky in the Brain. That was a cool cartoon. Anyway, so look at where that is, 7th fret. Now, look at where my finger starts the next power chord, okay? When I go down to play that A power chord. Where's that G? It's A power chord, yes. I'm getting really confused today, guys. I apologize. Probably confusing you too. But look at where I start. I start on the fifth note of the D power chord, okay? And of course, the fifth note of that A power chord there. That, of course, fits that D. So that's why that works. And listen to this again one more time. Okay, pretty cool concept there. So you could also do this. Let me share this with you because this is a very common way to kind of do what we just did. My fingers, I'm not good at stretching out my fingers. Maybe it's something I should practice or whatever, but some people will play that same thing like this. Now I essentially played everything at the same time. So if we just call out the frets across the A, D, and G strings here, I'm on 5, 7, and 9. Same thing we just played. But playing it this way, you get a different feel. You get a different kind of I know I play a lot of 80s metal. You guys know that. That's one of my loves. I like to integrate that into my own music. But you get more of an edgy vibe from what we did, what we're doing in this lesson here. That D, okay? The D going to the A, but being within the D the entire time, if that makes sense. And also, I like to be able to bar those two notes, okay, in this case, across that 7th fret there. You can get a little vibrato out of that, and it just gives it a little bit more edge. It sounds really cool, okay? Really cool technique that you can use there. Now, let's go back to the entire progression. All I'm really doing is applying that exact same technique to every power chord, or almost every power chord that I played. And I'm going to see if I can remember what I played earlier. I may have to like copy that part of the video and paste it here. Let's see if I can remember it though. But watch my hands, watch what I'm doing. I'll play it like the normal speed, whatever that is, because I just made this up. Hence I might not remember it, but then I'll kind of play it a little bit slower, okay? But just watch where I'm stopping to play. I'm stopping the regular power chord to play that second power chord within the power chord, right? All right, now let me slow that down a little bit. Now, I may not play this note for note, so please forgive me. Again, I just made this riff up because I was messing around with this technique here. I'm like, you know, this would make a really cool lesson. I think this would help you guys. So now I want to play this one more time a little bit slower. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave out all the stuff I did, you know, here and there. So what I'm going to do, I'll do the D power chord, I'll play the D power chord, and of course the other chord that encompasses that little section there. The same thing with the E power chord, then I'll show you what I'm doing for the C power chord. So watch this, okay? Okay, that's it. And you don't need tabs for this because, again, you're applying the exact same concept to any power chord that you play. So if I play the E, okay, all you're going to do is find where that E power chord is. Okay, here we're on the A, D strings, frets 7 and 9. So what are we going to do? We're going to start with that next note of the power chord. Okay, our next little power chord part that we play along with this is going to start on that 5th note of the power chord, which is right here where my pinky finger is. That's it. That's how that whole thing works. And again, you can apply that to any and every power chord. Let's go to the C. Where's our C power chord? Okay, we're on the A and D strings, threats. The C power chord is a real threat. Frets 3 and 5. Okay, well, where do we go next to do that other cool little thing that we did? Well, where's the second note, the 5th note of the power chord, that second note that I'm playing? It's right here, okay, where my pinky finger is, D string 5th fret. So that means we're going to start that next power chord right there. You just play a power chord. And instead of that riff, I think it was... Okay, you could do that with a G power chord. Which, if you do that with a G power chord, then your next power chord you're going to play with that to get that cool sound that we're talking about is going to be the D power chord, which is where you start again. So okay, so that's it. That's the little, I don't want to say trick, but that's the little technique that I wanted to share with you. Just a cool way to expand your power chords and expand maybe a song that you've already written and you're like, you know, I'm just playing power chords here, but I want something else. Well, now you can throw that in. Maybe you don't do it every power chord. I did it most every power chord here just to share with you the technique, but maybe you do it every other power chord of a verse or a chorus that has 4 power chords. Maybe you only do it one time, but it's just something that you can use to break up the power chord, to break up the song a little bit. So I hope this helps you. I truly hope this lesson helps you here and hope you get a lot out of it. Real quick before we end, if you're not in any of my guitar courses, definitely jump into one of those. I've got my Metal Riff Master course that has helped so many of you, and thank you guys for supporting that. Those of you who are in the course, thank you for your support on that. But that course has over 80 riffs with tabs and backing tracks, of course, the videos, all that good stuff. I've got some really nice bonus material in that too. One's on riff writing. I've got another lead guitar module in that course. Now, if you're a beginner starting out, you'll want to start with my Metal Guitar Apprentice. That goes over the fundamentals and basics of metal guitar. So check those out. Those links are in the description of this YouTube video here. If you have any questions, please leave those in the comments and let me know if this helps you. You know, I want you to apply this. I want you to use this. You know, if you've got a song you're writing or something that you're working on, try this technique and let me know if it changes things in a good way for you in the song that you're working on. So I'd love to know that, so leave a comment. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed. I will see you guys on the next video. Until then, keep it metal.